The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com. Okay, welcome in to the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
This is the first show of 2016 that we're both here doing. I was out last week. I was very, very sick.
And then we also had our show on New Year's, which we did not have a show that day. Again, we will be having Chris Simpson call in, of the Daily Blitz call in at 6:40 to maybe give a little recap of the NFL games last weekend, preview the ones this weekend, and maybe talk about the coaching hires and the Rams move to Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's an interesting move too.
The announcement just kind of came out of nowhere. There was no rumors, speculation. People like Adam Schefter tweeting out sources, Rams moving to LA. It just came out, Rams moving to LA.
I guess I'm kind of surprised that this even came out before the football season ended.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is kind of interesting, and then throw in the fact that they kept Jeff Fisher as their head coach, so maybe they just wanted to keep the continuity, just keep their head coach in there while they're going through the transition period, and then if they think that they need to find a new head coach, do that maybe a year after they move to LA, except that could be in another 2 or 3 years of Jeff Fisher for them if they go by that.
Yeah, he's not a very good coach, but I'm glad it's the Rams that are moving. I didn't think Oakland deserved to move to Los Angeles, and frankly, I didn't think San Diego deserved to move either, but they still could. I think they have a year to decide. And then the 2016 season will probably still be played in San Diego.
Yeah, I don't even think they don't even have a stadium built yet in Los Angeles, so the Rams aren't moving yet.
Right, it's close to being finished, and it'll be ready for the season to start. It's just it's a very interesting move after that same team, the Los Angeles Rams, moved out, I think, after the 1994 season, and then they played in St. Louis for like 21 years, and then now they're moving back to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of fit them the most of any team in terms of your conference or division, because now all 4 teams in the NFC West will be playing on the West Coast.
Yeah, they'll actually be playing in the West, and instead of having a Midwest team over here. Although on Sundays it doesn't really matter. But if this was hockey, basketball, or baseball, some of the start times would be a little different. It'd be a little hard for St. Louis fans to stay up late and watch all their teams from the West Coast if this was a different sport.
Yep, that's true, and I think it's a good thing that it wasn't the Raiders that moved, because they have a really loyal fan base.
Yeah, they do.
They have fans that have been around forever. They have a loyal team. They're still showing, even though the team isn't very good, even though since they've had some very, very good drafting in recent years, they're definitely on the rise.
Yeah, they certainly are on the rise. I think they finished, 7-9 this year?
Something really good, and you saw Derek Carr make significant strides in his second year as a quarterback, and you can tell they have a legit number 1 receiver in Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
They're building the defense around Khalil Mack. Jack Del Rio is looking like he's a great hire for them, so they're trending in the right direction. And that AFC West really could be up for grabs next year with, if Oakland can take another step forward. You still got the Chiefs and the Broncos.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a competitive season, especially in that division. And talking about the coaching hires and stuff, there was a bunch of moves today, and there was moves a few days ago, too, as the Bears hired their new offensive coordinator, as Adam Gase went to the Miami Dolphins, which is kind of an interesting move.
Yeah, you could tell that the Dolphins are definitely looking for someone to try to help Ryan Tannehill take the next step forward, because it looks like he took a step backward this year.
Yeah, he definitely did, and the team around him wasn't very good. They have a lot of playmakers, but they just couldn't seem to gel together. I don't think their defense is very good at all.
It's just
that's their main issue.
It's full of good players, just in the wrong coaching scheme.
Right, and then now Chip Kelly is the new head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, which is a very interesting move after I didn't think he would be coaching in the NFL again. He did such a bad job with Philadelphia.
Right, I mean, I don't know what the 49ers CEO Jed York and their GM Trent Balk have been thinking. I mean, I understand it the move, bring in Chip Kelly because he's had success with mobile quarterbacks like Marcus Mariota in college, and then maybe they're hoping that he can turn Colin Kaepernick around. Except I don't know. I would have wanted I would have personally would have rather had him in more of a coordinator role if he was willing to accept that, because I mean, it really did not. His defense is just terrible. His defenses are terrible. It'll be interesting to see how his special teams do without a guy like Darren Sproles returning kicks, because they had some pretty good special teams down in Philadelphia with him returning the ball. It's going to be interesting what they do. It doesn't sound like he'll have any say or much say in personnel decisions like he had with Philadelphia after they saw how that turned out. Except I think this is just more of a move to help fix Colin Kaepernick. Even though I just don't think he's a very good quarterback.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't really think there's anything to fix, really. I mean, he had a pretty good quarterback who got injured all the time, but he had a pretty good quarterback in Sam Bradford, and that didn't work out. Yeah,
he just didn't fit Kelly's scheme because Kelly prefers the mobile quarterback that can escape pressure, and Bradford having 2 ACL surgeries, he wasn't very mobile.
Yeah, it's just not feasible, really. Now let's talk about the Bears' new offensive coordinator, Dow Loggins. He was the quarterback's coach this past season with the Bears, and I mean, obviously, as a quarterback's coach, he did a pretty nice job with Jay Cutler, obviously.
Right, him and Adam Gase did a nice job. Jay seemed to really like him. He said he'd have no problem if Dowell Loggins replaced Adam Gase if he left, which he did, and Dowell was promoted. And John Fox has had a lot of success promoting from within and finding offensive coordinators. That's something that Lovie Smith had trouble doing, was finding the right offensive coordinator.
And it's good because Jay Cutler already has a year with Dowell Loggins, and so now, it's not a new hire coming from a different team. He's been with the team for a year, and he's, performed pretty well. So hopefully Jay Cutler will be able to continue to work well with Loggins, and hopefully it'll work out as a positive. And, of course, you'll get a lot of people back next year. And hopefully the injury bug won't hit the Bears so bad like it did all of last year.
And, a lot of those soft tissue injuries, which Jay Cutler even went out and said, those are on the players, those soft tissue injuries, the minor ones. It's how you condition your body. And with Dowell Loggins, I know Jay said that him and Adam will run kind of the same offense. Adam, like Gase, like to run more of a vertical offense, where Dowell Loggins will probably run more of a West Coast offense, which that's fine. And I mean, really, it's about the continuity. Even though that it's a new offensive coordinator for Cutler, he still has plenty of experience with him, and they seem to really get along.
Right, and of course we all hope that Kevin White can be the receiver that he was in college, one of the top receivers in all of college football. Hopefully that can continue, and he can, even if he has a season like Amari Cooper had in 2015, or even, a little worse or better, I mean, you'll definitely take that, especially with Alshon Jeffrey being, the main receiving target, and a couple of the other guys for the Bears did not perform that.
That's assuming that he gets re-signed, though.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming he will. I'm assuming Matt Forte is gone, but I'm assuming that they don't lose both.
Yep, we'll see. Anyways, we'll continue to dive more into what the Bears could do this offseason.
And we'll also recap the games from last week, the playoff games as well.
You're listening to Sports Renegades on SportsTownChicago.com.
The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.